everyone has an opinion on cold approach. The red pill guys swear by it. The black pill guys call it the biggest cope in existence, and most men have never actually done it enough times to know who's right. So today I'm going to break down what actually happens when an average looking guy, not a Chad, not a model, not some guy with perfect bone structure, actually goes out and cold approaches 100 women. The results are not what either side wants to hear. Let's get into it. So cold approach is basically walking up to a woman you don't know in public and expressing interest. No apps, no mutual friends, no social context, just you, her, and whatever you say in the next 30 seconds. And in the looksmaxxing and black pill community, this is one of the most debated topics out there. One side says cold approach is the great equalizer, that personality, confidence, and game can override looks if you put in the volume. And the other side says cold approach is pure cope, that women make their decision in the first 3 seconds based purely on your face, and everything you say after that is irrelevant. And honestly, both sides have a point, which is why we need to actually look at what the data and real-world experience says instead of just theorizing. Let's talk about what realistically happens across 100 approaches for an average man. And I'm not talking about a guy with a terrible frame and zero social skills. I'm talking about an average-looking guy, maybe a 5 to 6 out of 10, who has decent hygiene, decent style, and can hold a conversation. Realistically, across 100 approaches, he's looking at roughly 60 to 70 immediate rejections. Women who are not interested and make it clear quickly. Maybe 20 to 25 polite conversations that go nowhere. Maybe 8 to 12 numbers. And out of those numbers, maybe 2 to 4 that actually respond and lead somewhere. That is the realistic math. And I know that sounds brutal, but here's what's interesting. Those 2 to 4 connections would not have existed at all without the 100 approaches. On a dating app, that same guy might get 2 to 4 matches in an entire month if he's lucky. Cold approach, done consistently, actually outperforms the app experience for average men in terms of real outcomes. So what actually separates the approaches that work from the ones that don't? And this is where it gets interesting, because it's not purely looks, but it's also not purely game. The guys who get the best results from cold approach have a few things in common. First, they look put together, not necessarily handsome, but groomed, well-dressed, good posture, clean. That alone filters you into a category where women are at least willing to hear you out. Second, C, they open confidently without being weird or aggressive. Direct, calm, non-desperate opener does most of the work. Something simple and genuine beats any scripted line every time. Third thought about they handle rejection without making it weird. Because most approaches end in rejection, and how you handle that determines whether the interaction ends cleanly or becomes a story she tells her friends about the creep who wouldn't leave. And fourth, volume. The guys who are good at cold approach got good because they did it hundreds of times. There is no shortcut to that. Now, let me give the black pill side its fair hearing, because it's not wrong about everything here. Looks absolutely matter in cold approach. An objectively attractive man doing the exact same approach as an average man is going to get a significantly higher success rate. That is just true. Women make an initial assessment in seconds, and if you don't pass that initial filter, the conversation is already uphill. And there are genuine situations where a cold approach is basically pointless for certain guys. If you're significantly below average in looks, if you're in an environment where women are not receptive, if your fundamentals are not in order. Doing 100 approaches with bad fundamentals is not going to teach you game. It's just going to give you 100 rejections and nothing else. So the black pill is right that looks set a ceiling on your cold approach success rate. Where it's wrong is in saying that ceiling is 0 for average men. because the numbers say otherwise. So should the average man actually cold approach? My honest answer, yes, but only if your fundamentals are in order first. If you're overweight, if your style is bad, if your grooming is a mess, fix those things first, because cold approach without fundamentals is just pain with no return. But if you've put in the work on your appearance and you're still sitting at home waiting for dating apps to deliver, cold approach is genuinely your best alternative. Not because it's going to make you a pickup artist, not because looks don't matter, but because it forces you into real social interactions that apps completely remove you from. It builds the social calibration that even clavicular proved you can't buy with surgery. And it puts you in front of women who would never have swiped right on you, but might genuinely connect with you in person. The guys who dismiss it entirely have usually never actually done it consistently. And the guys who swear it overrides everything are lying to themselves about the role looks play. The truth is somewhere in the middle, and the only way to find your personal truth is to actually go do it. So that's the honest breakdown. Cold approach for an average man is brutal, humbling, and statistically a grind. But it outperforms the alternative of doing nothing, and it builds something that no looks max can give you. Actual real-world experience with real women in real situations. Fix your fundamentals first, get your expectations right, and then go do the volume. Drop a comment telling me if you've ever cold approached and what happened. I want to hear the real stories. And subscribe, because next video I'm getting into something that's going to hit even harder than this one.